Hey everybody, welcome to the Come On Podcast. We're going to bring you some truth in the trenches today and give you a little story about Christmas.
Come on.
Come on. You're back.
I'm back.
His name is back. This is Chad Chambers again.
Chad Chambers.
Welcome back. Glad
Thank
to have
you.
you back.
Honored to be back.
Yeah, you're the second best dressed person on this podcast. My mentor, Brandon Clark, got you beat. I'm sorry.
Because he wears a pirate's hat?
No. Forever, that bee that he had on his hat, I thought it stood for Brandon. And I always walked around, I was like, why is it got a bee on his hat?
Yeah.
Like Dave Chappelle.
I used to wear a Boston Red Sox hat just
Yeah.
because it had a B on it for a minute. I didn't even watch baseball, but everybody thought I was. They'd be like, did you see that game last night?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I didn't know.
Target has a really cool Yankees hat. Kirsten likes the Yankees. I could not care less about baseball, but it's a cool looking Yankees hat. But if I buy it, everybody's gonna be like, Yankees. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Awesome. So we're going to tell the story of Christmas. What is Christmas? We're not going to get into Santa Claus stuff, I don't think, but we're going to talk about Christmas, the real story of Christmas, or why we celebrate Christmas, and we're going to read through the Luke chapter 2, 1 through 20, and or Sawyer is, and then we're going to just dive off in this thing and see what we got.
Yep. This episode's getting released the day before Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, you guys.
Yeah, it'd be Christmas Eve.
Yep.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, you guys.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for listening. We'll just get right after it. I'm reading Luke 2, 1 through 20.
Yep.
So
Luke
if you want
2,
to follow
1 through
along,
20.
Luke chapter 2, verses 1 through 20. I'm going to go ahead and start. It's titled The Birth of Jesus Christ. I'm reading ESV. In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration when
Queerness is how I Googled it. Yeah.
I don't know how to say that. Queerness. That's a horrible name. Was governor of Syria. And all went to be registered, each to his own town. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, from the town of Nazareth to Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be registered with Mary, his betrothed, who was with child. And while they were there, the time came for her to give birth. And she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling cloths, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. The shepherds and the angels, this is titled. And in the same region there were shepherds out in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And an angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were filled with great fear. And the angel said to them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all the people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. And this will be a sign for you. You will find a baby wrapped in swaddling cloths and lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among those with whom he is pleased. When the angels went away from them into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, Let us go over to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has made known to us. And they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph, and the baby lying in a manger. And when they saw it, they made known the saying that had been told them concerning this child. And all who heard it wondered at what the shepherds told them. But Mary treasured up all these things, pondering them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen, as it had been told them.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Ultimately, just to I know how I am when I hear a bunch of stuff. Ultimately, that verse, chapter 2, verse 1 through 20, is literally telling you Jesus Christ was born.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a lot to that, but and a lot of stuff that happens that I know Chad's going to go into. Why do I keep bumping that thing? But the whole purpose of to me when I think about Christmas is it's literally celebrating the birth of Jesus.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Now we're going to talk about why is that important.
Yeah.
Well, it's profound because up to this point, everything in the Old Testament has pointed to this.
This point. Yeah.
They've
This
been
time.
literally waiting on this.
Waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. Could you imagine being the wise men and suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among those with whom he is pleased." That would be crazy. Like, and suddenly with the angel was all these other angels.
Oh, yeah.
That is nuts.
Not to mention the shepherds. I mean, we'll get into that too, but there's a lot of symbolism here to unpack.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I guess since we're on it, we can just maybe address it right now. But the fact that God used the Magi, who were Gentiles, who had status,
Is the Magi, that's the wise men?
Wise men.
Okay. Okay.
the fact that he used them and he used local shepherds who would have been Jewish, already we're seeing symbolism where he is bringing
Unity.
unity with Jews
Wow.
and Gentiles
Wow.
and using them in
Off the bat.
right off the bat.
Yeah. Wow. That's good. Yeah, just the people he used to like and I don't know, I never worked because you growing up I did Sunday school play, like we would do plays for our church and we would always do the story and you'd have the three wise men and then they would bring him gifts, but it was like why and I assume you're probably going to get into this potentially, but like why was that necessary?
Yeah.
Why did he, Jesus was being born. There was already all these things happening. Like Mary was a virgin, but, the Lord came upon her and then she was pregnant and, she was pregnant with Jesus and all this stuff that's happening. Why add this part into the story, and not that this is what this whole thing is about, but like, what's in, like you were saying, the symbolism of all this?
I think I got something you'll appreciate.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Are you going with it now or are you going to?
No,
Okay.
I'll get to it later.
That's what dude, like you start off in this thing. So why in the world would they even tell us about the decree went out for the census, right? So I'm thinking about that. I'm like, well, why is that important? But
Yeah.
it's very important because that explains why. So that gives the detail or the reason why they ended up in Bethlehem.
Yeah.
So there's no other reason for them to leave and go do that other than Caesar Augustus issued a decree for them to go back home to be counted for the census.
So one thing right off the bat here that I noticed, and I'd never noticed this before until I was prepping for this, was in verse 4, it says, "And Joseph also went up from Galilee from the town of Nazareth to Judea to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house of and lineage of David." So if you read through Matthew, and we'll get to that, he doesn't talk about being from Nazareth.
Yeah.
So we're actually seeing that they actually were from Nazareth. So as we get further down the road and they
Who was?
return to Nazareth,
Joseph and
Mary.
They were okay.
Yeah.
So
This is also a lot. And Joseph also went up from Galilee from the town of Nazareth. Is Nazareth in Galilee?
I assume that would be like Washita Parish and West Monroe.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, there's a town in Galilee called Nazareth. Is that what?
To Bethlehem.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of confused me right there.
Yeah. Here it is right here. I know they can't see that, but there's Galilee is a region.
Gotcha.
And there's Nazareth.
Gotcha. Okay. I see.
So there's already some deep things going on here too, but in the Old Testament, after Solomon died, the 12 tribes broke into two kingdoms,
Okay.
north and south. The northern kingdom represented failure, idolatry, exile to Assyria. It was Israel, it was Ephraim, and it was Samaria. Okay?
Okay.
We know about Samaria.
Mm-hmm.
We know about the idolatry. The northern split from Judah after the death of Solomon, there were 10 tribes, faithlessness and idolatry. When they say nothing good comes from Nazareth, Nazareth was in the northern kingdom. Which is deep already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing why nothing good comes from Nazareth.
Yeah.
Because of how they thought about them. They were no good.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
And Samaria was the capital of the northern kingdom.
I guess I always thought it was like they were referring to it as like social status. You know what I mean? I never really thought of it as like, oh, that like that region had significance. Like
They had
that-
issues.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So
that's deep rooted.
so David was from Nazareth. And
No, David was Bethlehem.
Bethlehem, sorry.
Yeah.
David, Joseph, and Mary were Nazareth.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I see. Okay,
But Joseph was from the lineage of David.
right. Whoa. That is cool.
So we're also seeing how God can use what we think is bad
Yeah.
for something good.
For good.
Off the bat. Just by where they came from
Yeah.
and where they went. Why did they go there? And I know it was like they were trying to escape queerness. I'm being so serious. Like I've never. Is it pronounced a different way? Is that how it's pronounced? I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
Queerness.
Queerness is how
Queerness.
I heard it. I don't know.
I've never heard that name. That's okay. So he was
So they went for a census so everybody could be counted. That was the
Yeah.
whole point of going.
Population.
yeah.
Population.
Who's where? How many's here?
Yeah.
Okay. This whole time she's pregnant, all the stuff that's happened in chapter 1 for, God, she's pregnant, she's a virgin, it's Jesus.
Yes.
Angel approached her, all that stuff. And so now they're just going to Bethlehem from Nazareth.
And baby Jesus was born in a manger at an inn. So they didn't even have, actually, there was no place for him at the inn. Excuse me. They were in he was born and put into a manger.
I heard in a podcast recently with Lee Strobel that the word "in" is probably inaccurate. And I know that I'm not trying to get into, but they think that because in the Greek, the word "in" or what they used for the word "in" could also meant a common place in the house, or an extra room in the house. And so, and basically every house, like inside the house, they had a manger. And so it could have just meant, we always see it like, oh, he was born with like cows and horses and whatever around him, donkeys. And that might be true, but like, the real story could be potentially that, it was just, there was no room in the extra room of the house. So they had to be in the common.
Had to be somewhere.
Right. They had to be in the house somewhere. They just weren't in the extra room. So that's just like a little thing, because the Greek word for in doesn't necessarily mean in. You know what I mean? How we would, and the original translation does not talk about an innkeeper. That was added.
Yeah. And sadly, I think, and I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole, but
Oh yeah, me neither. Yeah.
sadly, I think there's a lot of things that we have made tradition that are just not accurate.
Yeah. Right.
They fit the makes a good story.
Sure.
kinda,
And
for
that
us.
could potentially be the real story.
And it
Could be.
it's commercialized.
Yeah. Exactly.
or Christmas for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's a rabbit hole by
Oh,
itself.
man.
the whole
yeah.
thing, so.
So
But the origin of Christmas, the season, I guess you would call it, this time of the year, was to celebrate Jesus' birth.
yeah.
I haven't done any kind of a deep dive, obviously, on that, like where what it used to be to what it is now.
Yeah.
I know it's changed. There's no doubt about it.
and I've heard people go down and they're like, okay, if we go off Zechariah, when he was a priest, when it was his turn, when Elizabeth became pregnant with John, how all that happened, they back into a calendar and a number, and based off the information we have, I didn't look at it, but I want to say that it was like September-ish
Yeah.
that Christ was actually born.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't actually.
Here's
yeah.
what I've said, and I don't have all the answers. At the end of the day, I think, does it matter?
Right.
I'm asking myself that question, like, does it matter when?
Right.
We do want to know facts, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to know. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but what I'm getting at is, like, it's the same thing with, is church supposed to be on Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to go on Sunday and Wednesday? I don't want to get into that, but
Right.
the thing is, we need to celebrate it every day.
That's right.
But there's one day a year or a
Everybody
season
coalesces around. Yeah.
Yeah.
that we can really tell the story and focus on his birth and who he is, why he's here, why it's important,
Yep.
all that stuff.
And it's significant enough that churches do see an uptick in attendance
Yeah,
for
Yeah.
Christmas service.
yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. Yeah. So I think I just want to emphasize, I'm not saying it's not important to research that stuff. I'm going to do that. Like, that's what
Yeah.
I'm doing. I'm researching, deep research, whatever you want to call it, on stuff to learn,
Yeah.
just to know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fall into having a surface level understanding
Oh yeah.
of Christ and the Bible,
That's right.
so just really digging into that. But yeah, again, at the end of the day, if I found out, or if I did research and found out, because I believe stuff like that, it's true. If I found out it was in September, is that going to, like,
We're not doing Christmas in
Yeah,
December
yeah,
anymore.
It still
Yeah.
doesn't change who Christ was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't
Exactly.
change the fact that he was born.
Yeah.
yeah. And where I'm headed is people that are non-believers will argue that.
Pick that
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, but
You
at the
don't
end
even
of the day,
celebrate the right day.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're not. Y'all have Christmas in December, and I found out it was in September.
You fake.
Well,
Yeah.
and another
But what
thing
does it
is
matter?
like back in Jesus' time, dates didn't matter. Like the day that you were born didn't matter. it was what mattered most. And like that's what, because that it's like today that's kind of like our identity. Like I'm Sawyer Smith, I'm 24 years old.
Yeah.
His identity was Jesus, son of Joseph. You know what I mean? Like that, it was more of like his lineage. That was his identity. Ours is like name, date. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
or age.
And what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so like dates don't matter, or
Yeah.
it seems like they don't matter.
They may not have the significance that we've given them.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Especially in our day and age, like it matters to us, but like to them, they were just like, who gives a rip whenever you celebrate my birthday?
Yeah.
Thank you. You know?
Yeah. Sweet. All right, so I think you probably have something on the shepherds out in the field,
man.
why that was important, and you touched on it a little bit, but why that's important and why that's added there in verse 8.
So some of this stuff and look, I'm not a genius. I haven't been downloaded with all this. It's all stuff I've researched, so I don't want anybody to think that this is all my original stuff,
Yeah.
right? But it's remarkable that Jesus waited 30 years until he revealed who he was. Okay?
Okay.
Angels revealed the good news of Christ to the shepherds before Christ revealed who he was.
I was about to say, it seems like he was revealed a lot earlier. Like it seems like he's being announced here.
So between the shepherds, between the magi, people talking, and we'll get into some of that with the magi later, but they were obviously talking about what happened.
Yeah. Right.
You're not a shepherd and have that happen to you and just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
If that happened to any one of us, I would tell if I stopped to
Everyone
get
I
gas,
know,
I'd be like, dude, you're not going to believe what happened to
What
me.
just happened? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So they're telling everybody, which starts, maybe his reputation starts to,
Float
who
out
knows?
there.
And maybe from the time he was born until the time he was an adult and started his ministry, people just
Kind of
forgot about
forgot.
it.
Yeah. That's what it seems like, because whenever he started his ministry, like people, it seems like people were still, I mean, they were still waiting for the Messiah.
Yeah, because you think about, you about to die?
Yeah. Sorry.
You think about, oh man, I can't recall it, but Jesus speaks about that, that they, even the place where he come from, his town, Nazarene, they're not. So apparently, obviously, they had done forgotten that or didn't know or whatever the case is. That does make you wonder what.
And it is significant though that you really learn more about it from Jesus' teaching with the Pharisees, and I don't want to get too far off, but the significance of it's relevant today how we think God's going to work doesn't match how God is actually working.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They expected something completely different, and they could not accept what was in front of them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. So basically, I see where you're going. So they expected somebody to ride in and take over the world, and here he is being born in a manger,
Humble.
Yeah,
Yep.
just lowly,
and they couldn't get past their preconceived ideas of what that was going to look like to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. It still happens today.
No, and we have to understand, and I tell people this all the time when we talk about outside the box thinking, but truly with God, it's much more impactful in that if God gave us a puzzle, all the pieces for 1,000-piece puzzle are going to fit inside that box. The chances are when that puzzle's put together, it's it's going to be bigger than the box. It won't fit in the box. So we cannot put him in the box of our limited knowledge.
Yeah. This is what he
That's
needs to be
good.
like. Yeah.
Yeah.
He can't do that. Yeah.
And you're seeing
right.
this now, and the fact that he revealed himself to the most humble, insignificant, unclean, low in how society viewed them, the shepherds. That's significant.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the humility, right? Again, symbolism of Christ and how he was humble.
yeah.
But the shepherds understood something that nobody else did. They knew lambs and sheep. Okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, verse 12. And this will be a sign for you. You will find a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger. All right? Nugget bomb number 1.
Here we go.
Newborn sacrificial lambs were wrapped this way to keep them spotless.
Whoa.
The shepherds would have known that.
Yeah.
Other people wouldn't have. So when they're told this and they find Christ this way, automatically in their minds, sacrificial lamb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Wonder how confused
That is deep.
this whole thing is probably confusing to them. But shepherds, where were the shepherds from? Do you know?
They were local.
In
Yeah.
Bethlehem. So like that would be like the same lineage of shepherds as David.
Probably.
Like same thing. And so
Yeah, I
like,
mean, if you at a deep level.
right. And David had an understanding of
Indeed.
scripture or you know what I mean, of God. And so they probably knew. Wow.
So here's something else. Shepherds reflect the identity of Jesus himself. Because the good shepherd who guides, protects, and lays down his life for his sheep. So there's also symbolism there with Christ. It's crazy.
Wow.
That's the thing about the Bible. And I understand when people are blind, you cannot understand this, period. But things like that right there, dude, a human did not come up with this.
No.
You cannot
Oh, yeah.
make this
You
up.
can't make it up.
Just like, that's why I was bringing up the fact of the census. Like,
Yeah.
just that little fact of, well, yeah, you could have just said he was in Bethlehem, but no, there was a reason they ended up there, and they're from Nazareth, and nothing's good there.
For God to orchestrate everything that happened in his birth story, from Nazareth to Bethlehem to Egypt and back, is all symbolic and fulfills prophecy. And again, we see it as, well, he wasn't born here. He wasn't from here. He didn't arrive like this. But God made it happen to where all those things came to fruition.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It also speaks to how everybody's at different levels, right? And we all have different giftings. We all have different passions. We all have different God-given gifts and talents. But the need for deep understanding of God's word and digging some of this stuff out. It's like if you just take it at face value, sometimes it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, it gives it a lot more. It fires you up.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, to learn stuff.
Oh, I get jacked.
Me too.
There was stuff I fought all day not sharing with you guys. I'm like, no, it's going to be a surprise. I got to hold something back.
You figured that out today about the swaddling cloths?
Yeah, I was between last night and before I came, I was just.
That is cool.
And that's what
That is cool.
Because you can look at the Bible and man, look how thick this one is. You
Yeah.
know, study Bible, you can be like, man, it's overwhelming. But if you just you can take one little section. You don't even have to do 1 through 20. You could do 1 through 5.
Yeah.
And spend probably a whole week researching.
And honestly, one of the biggest things anybody can do, and this is maybe a little PSA for everybody, study Jewish culture.
Yeah.
In order to truly understand, you have to understand the people that were writing it, where they were coming from, what was customary, and it just makes everything make so much more sense.
Yeah. Specifically Old Testament or just
And new.
Jewish culture? Okay.
Now, obviously, things changed a little bit from Old Testament to new, and you start getting into, a Hellenistic time period, and you got the Romans, and you got Greeks, and you got Jews, Gentiles. You got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Sure.
But at the end of it, and we'll get into some Jewish Midrash. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Midrash, but
I've heard about it. You made me think though, thinking about somebody listening that's newer maybe to this or not very far along in their walk. I've said this a lot, but you're the first thing you need to do, or I believe you need to do, is understand the gospel.
yeah.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And then I believe Acts, and then James, probably for me anyway. Those 2 books. But once you get that foundation there of why you believe what you believe, maybe it is a surface level at that point, then you start digging into this stuff right here.
It creates a hunger.
Yeah, you just keep going and going. And that's why you see people that are 70, 80 years old, I got my grandpa, when he died, literally bookcases of books.
Yeah.
Of different things. And you're like, wow, how much can you read about one story? There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Because you start reading in the history, real history and what. It's hard to read this book and because of our culture, it's hard to read this book and like really understand what was going on back then, because it's so different now from then. And so just being able to really firmly grasp the gospel and then read stuff like this and get really deep like this is, man, it just keeps you going, because you're like, man, you just realize how much more true and true and true it gets, because you can't make it up.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering with the shepherds is like, I wonder how much they knew, like in that moment, because they obviously, it seems like they have a background of like growing up with these traditions, like making sacrifices, going to the temple, same thing that David did. Yeah. If David's lineage was passed on. And so, and obviously being a shepherd was popular in that area because David did it. And then they're doing it. And so it's like, what did they know in that time to walk up, see Jesus in swaddling cloths, and say like, oh snap, like what?
Yeah. Because in their mind, they're probably like, you guys know what this means?
Yeah.
Right. And nobody got it.
Yeah.
You know what though? I was just looking at this and something just stuck out. In verse 9, it said, an angel of the Lord appeared to them, and they were filled with great fear.
Yeah.
In 10, the angel said to them, fear not. Behold, I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all the people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David, who is Christ the Lord. So they went from fear to joy
Yeah.
once they learned about Christ's birth.
Right.
Yeah.
Symbolic of how our lives are jacked and we don't know what to do until you start to have a relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
And then you find joy in even the mundane.
Oh yeah. There's all kind of symbolism in that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good. Man, and that's what, like, the angels were revealing who he was. Like, I mean, it's plain as day right there. Like, they were told, for unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord, like the Messiah.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's here. Like, an angel from the sky came down. You
In
know,
the middle of the night.
I don't know how obvious it can get. And then just like that, how we were saying earlier, like, people forgot. It just went away.
Well, and then the angel told them that they would find the baby wrapped in swaddling cloths in a manger.
Yeah.
And then so obviously they traveled. I don't know. Doesn't matter really how far or whatever.
They
but
were in the same region, so they
there's-
probably would have been a 20-minute walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so then they had to go, and then I'm sure when they walked in, they're like, "Whoa!"
Holy smokes.
So that honestly brings up a good point about misconceptions, misnomers, whatever you
yeah.
want to say.
Oh yeah.
Shepherds were the first ones to see Christ. It wasn't the wise men that we always think, or that we've always been told, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The wise men.
Yeah, because you always hear about the wise men bring
Oh, we'll
Jesus was born, and the wise men
I
brought
think they
gifts.
came. I think they came like 2 or 3 years later.
I got some stuff for that too.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
We probably are there.
Just spoiled it.
Honestly, Matthew gets into some of this stuff a little deeper.
You were all about some Matthew, man.
Well, you'll see why.
I'm going to Matthew. Where you at? 1, 2.
1 verse 18.
I'm going to 118.
All the way
do you
through
remember?
chapter 2.
Yes, I was about to say it's 1.
118 through the end of chapter 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm there. Oh yeah, that's all that right there. Visit of the wise men. That's it right there. That's chapter 2. You about to drop a bomb on us?
Whenever you're ready, bro.
Yeah, we're ready.
Oh snap! Buckle up. I love this stuff.
Are we going to read it?
You want me to? Chapter 2.
No,
What are we-
yeah, I don't. Well,
What are we reading?
That's up to you guys. Do you want to read through it or do you just want to reference it?
References.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing I got is Matthew doesn't waste any time jumping into it. And it's, again, I don't know that we know why, but he talks about the birth of Christ and then goes right to Mary had been betrothed to Joseph. Before they came together, she was found to be with child from the Holy Spirit. And then it goes right to Joseph. So jumping right into it, he automatically shifts the focus to Joseph,
Okay.
which is significant in that. So back up, betrothed. Okay. Unlike our culture, once they agreed to marry, they had a legally binding relationship, even though they hadn't had the actual ceremony, consummated the marriage, anything like that. So that betrothal period would have been like a year long.
Okay.
So during that time, he would have still been living with his parents. She would have still been living with her parents. And that gives her time to prepare for transitioning to a married life. And it gives him time to prepare a home
Yeah.
for them to live in.
I've heard this. Okay.
Okay. So they were not living together,
Right.
and it says she was found to be with child, which I thought was significant. And I looked, I couldn't really find a good answer to that. So did her parents realize she was pregnant? It doesn't say she told somebody.
Yeah.
Did he recognize that?
Did she hide it?
How did she hide it?
Yeah.
At what point did he learn?
Yeah. Because she knew.
Yeah. But even in that, I wrote down that how relevant to today to be in an adverse situation like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you go from something that's a huge deal in the Jewish culture to getting married, being betrothed, going through the process. This happens, and now you face the shame and public disgrace of divorce because in the eyes of everybody, you committed adultery.
Yeah.
So how relevant to today that we face adverse situations, but trust God's plan when it would have been so easy to react in the flesh for her and for him.
Yeah, for both sides. Yeah.
And the fact that he agreed to divorce her in
Privately.
privately also speaks to his righteousness, because he very easily could have made an
Probably,
issue out of
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in that he was visited by, had a dream, right?
And you don't really think about Joseph and his, I'll say, obedience
No.
or relationship.
Yeah.
You just hear the story and you pass right by that stuff.
You just don't hear a lot about Joseph in the Bible, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't hear from Joseph. You don't hear about his life. We know he was a carpenter.
Yeah. And
You don't hear about his death. But there's clues that on the cross, when he gave Mary to John to take care of her,
Yeah,
that implies that he's
gone.
he's gone.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy that there's this mystery around Joseph.
Yeah. Well, and that'd be something to look into as far as like Jewish culture is concerned, is like, how significant was it to like be a father of like your firstborn child? You know what I mean? Like how, like what kind of a, and I don't mean to put it into, I'm not trying to make it so simple, but like, I'm also trying to look at the reality of it, but like, how crushing was it? Like, the woman I'm about to marry is already pregnant.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I don't.
And
imagine-
everybody's going to know.
Yeah.
about it.
Imagine finding the love of your life and this happens.
Yeah, and I know he eventually had another son, or they eventually had another son, James. But it's still, you know, like, how crushing is this? And then to even, you know, like you were saying, still say, okay, we'll do it quietly. I won't make a big deal out of it. You know, all of this is just like obedience.
Because that was a huge deal then.
Yeah.
So to remain faithful
Yeah.
and trust God's plan through all that for both of them,
Yeah. Big deal.
Yeah.
the public scrutiny they were going to face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We don't
even
think
from,
about that, man.
and even from her perspective, like, to watch how badly that probably hurt him.
Oh,
know what I
yeah.
I mean, just crushed him. And there's just nothing that she can do about it. But she's also being obedient.
And trusting.
Yeah. Because, I mean, and I imagine, you know, if they found her, like we were saying earlier, she probably hid it in some sort of way. And I don't know if it was in like a lying way or whatever. It doesn't talk about that, obviously, but like there was probably fear, you know, of what, I mean, obviously there was fear of like, what is this going to look like?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, God, how do I explain this?
Oh, 100%.
You know?
100%. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophet. In verse 22, behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which means God with us. That references Isaiah 7:14.
Okay.
Some of this stuff may not be hugely significant, but it's worth pointing out because it doesn't really say, what they're looking at. And that was the end of it. Joseph woke from sleep, did as the angel of the Lord commanded him, took his wife, but knew her not, so they didn't consummate the marriage until she'd given birth to a son, and they called him Jesus.
So the marriage wasn't finalized until they didn't sign on the line until after the birth. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no. Took his wife, so they were married before Jesus. Knew her not means they didn't have sex until, right?
Right. So, again, that betrothal, they had a legally binding relationship
Yeah.
that would have lasted a year. Mm-hmm. So we don't know at what point she was betrothed to Joseph and when they found out she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. So I guess to answer your question, I don't know that you can tell. Maybe you can. If that timeline coincides with that year, the celebration, actual marriage, I would assume it does. I would assume that, like you're saying, the wedding took place. It just wasn't consummated because I don't know in Jewish culture if he would have taken her for the census.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing that says, that's what I was about to say. In Luke, it says, and we may be getting off on something, but it says, he took to be registered with Mary, his betrothed, who was with child.
Mm-hmm.
Betrothed is like an engagement, basically.
That's right.
That doesn't mean that you're married yet.
No. So it probably would
Yeah.
have been in that same
And that's not like super important.
engagement period.
Yeah, just curious, really.
Well, this one says his wife took his wife.
Well, I think
strange.
even for that betrothal, you were considered husband and wife.
Gotcha. Okay. So, okay. But it wasn't like finalized.
Right. That was just the custom, right? So
Yeah.
Gotcha.
again, it was legally binding, like what we would think of as a marriage. But there's that period where
You got to wait.
they're
Getting everything
preparing
ready.
and
Yeah.
Seems like they did it smart.
Yeah, they did.
And I read verse 25, but knew her not. I've always been taught that like knowing someone and not always,
Intimate.
but like it's like
That's what it
intimate.
is.
Okay.
Which means that they hadn't been consummated.
So it hasn't been made official. Gotcha. I'm so smart.
All right.
Here we go with the wise men.
All right.
What's your nugget?
Dude,
Are you there yet?
the
or-
Magi and the gifts is just, it's one of my favorite parts. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. It's better than the swaddling cloths. That's my favorite so far.
I'm gonna say the gifts is that level.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
All right. So the Magi, they were an ancient priestly class of men from Babylon, Persia. They were Gentiles. In Matthew, they were the first to worship Christ. In Matthew. Mm-hmm. Obviously, in Luke,
It was the angels.
it was the
Shepherds.
shepherds
Oh, okay.
who were the first to actually show up and
In the presence of Jesus.
Right.
Okay.
so that's a little nuance there.
Okay.
But again, like I said, it speaks to Christ drawing Jews and Gentiles. Mm-hmm. So what was significant about the Magi? This fulfilled a theme. I already said that Jesus was not just for the Jews, but for the Gentiles as well. When it says, where's it at? Okay. Chapter 2, verse 2. Where is he who has been born king of the Jews? For we saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him. There is reference there to Numbers 24:17 and Revelation 22:16, if you ever want to go look at that.
Yeah, I see it right there too. Yeah.
But Isaiah 49:6, I will make you a light for the nations. So there's reference to the star and the light. Isaiah 60, verse 3, nations shall come to your light. So the Magi are
Represent nations.
from the east, represent other nations
Yeah.
coming to the light.
Whoa.
Psalm 72, verses 10 and 11, kings bringing gifts to the Messiah. So it's prophetic.
Yeah.
All right. So they recognize and honor the true king. They recognize earthly powers. With Herod, earthly powers threatened by Christ. And true wisdom bows to humility, in humility. The Magi themselves, though, were astronomers.
Okay.
So they were well versed.
I've heard that theory before.
When you, I wrote it down somewhere here, with Nebuchadnezzar, when he had the dream. Was it Daniel? When he had the dream and he was calling everybody in. And he called the wise men, which would have been Magi, Old Testament,
Okay.
to try and interpret that dream for him and what it meant. And then it wasn't until Daniel came in. So that just kind of shows you the status that they held.
Yeah. Those people. Yeah.
With kings in the court.
Wow.
So it's important to note here too that now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, where is he who has been born king of the Jews? For we saw a star when it rose and have come to worship him. Then in verse 3, when Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And assembling all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They told him, Bethlehem of Judea, or so it is written by the prophet, which references Micah 5:2. And you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, and by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for from you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod summoned the wise men secretly and ascertained from them what time the star had appeared. So what all that implies, what you just read, was the wise men show up and they're walking around town talking about this star, asking questions, and the king of the Jews has arrived. So that's how Herod hears about it, from people talking. So, and I guess that's significant for me because in my mind, it was always that one of those deals where he called them and said, hey, tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
Like they had done before in other places, but that wasn't the case here. He called them after he heard they were there and were talking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
from Babylon to Jerusalem. So most likely, they would have either come from the Babylon area or Persia. Most likely Babylon, because it was the center of astronomical study. The Jewish messianic texts were preserved there since the exile, Daniel 2 and 5. And Daniel himself was made chief of the Magi, Daniel 2:48. So from Babylon to Jerusalem was between 550, 600 miles, depending on where you're at. Traveling by caravan would have taken 4 to 6 months.
Wow.
So that gives you a little bit of
Timeline.
reference, right?
Yeah.
They deliberately sought Jesus, which is,
Yeah.
they were some of the first ones that actually,
Yeah. Knocked.
Pursued.
yeah.
Yeah.
pursued.
Wow.
But they also traveled in large caravans for safety. So we think of the Magi too, the wise men, as being 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it really doesn't say that.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't say that. There's no really about it.
Okay.
It doesn't say there was 3. It just says the wise men. Now, we assume it was 3 because there were 3 gifts.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Now, maybe there was a group of 50 of them,
They brought
and
3
3 of
gifts.
them each grabbed one and
Yeah.
presented that gift. But again, that's another assumption that there was 3, and it doesn't specify 3.
Yeah.
Jumping down to verse 10, when they saw verse 9, after listening to the king, they went on their way, and behold, the star that they had seen when it rose went before them until it came to rest over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. What did the shepherds do? They were joyful.
Okay. I was going to the next verse.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 11, and going into the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother. They fell down and worshipped him. Then opening their treasures, they offered him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. So Jesus would have probably been at a bare minimum 9 months old. At a bare minimum, more than likely 12 to 24 months. This is also corroborated by Herod wanting to kill all the boys under 2.
Yeah.
All right. So again, the Magi did not find Jesus in a manger in Bethlehem when he was a baby.
Yeah.
Kid was running around talking smack already.
Dude. I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, what? Because it's always been talked about, like, shepherds came and then the wise men came.
Right. All right. The gifts.
I'm so excited.
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So gold was a gift for a king. So it declared Jesus as royal and legitimized his position as king. Okay?
Okay.
Frankincense was used by priests in holy worship and ceremonies, saying he is our high priest who brings us into the presence of God.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Brings us into the presence.
Foreshadowing.
Myrrh is the most exciting to me. Myrrh was a burial spice,
Yep.
which spoke of suffering, sacrifice, and death,
Yep.
which shows that this was his mission from the beginning,
Yeah.
was the cross.
Yep.
Now, here's a little nugget. Nugget bomb number 2.
So pumped.
I want you to look at the picture I sent you earlier.
Oh yeah.
Me?
I sent it to him. He can
Okay.
show you what it is, though. What's that look like?
Huh. Crown of thorns.
Is
that myrrh?
that's myrrh.
Oh,
That's the tree myrrh comes from.
was that what the crown was?
I don't know
On
if that's what
Jesus?
the crown was,
But
but it's foreshadowing.
I'll put this. I'll
Whoa.
put this up. We'll get it on there, so you can see this.
That is stinking cool.
So
There's so much to that.
here's the other thing about frankincense and myrrh. They're both tree resins. Both were highly valuable and known for their healing powers. They were harvested from wounding the tree, which means they had to cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the resin would drip or bleed out of the tree.
Healing
Wow.
itself.
And then they would take that hard resin, and that's what they used. So the tree was wounded, the
Yeah.
tree bled, and that's where those frankincense and myrrh come from.
Wow.
It's deep.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
It's deep.
There's so much.
So,
to
so
it.
it wasn't that they were bringing gifts like, oh, you're a
Oh,
king,
here-
we want to
here's
give you these
gold, yeah.
gifts. It was
Well thought out.
well thought out symbolism.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were recognizing at that level who Jesus was.
Wow.
Dude, that's crazy.
What did Mary and Joseph think whenever they saw that?
I
wonder.
don't, there again, I don't know what they knew.
What
I
you
don't know
bringing
their
my
level.
kid burial since for? You know, like
Right?
what's you doing, Hoss?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Um,
My kid's got all this gold now. No.
it doesn't talk about what they did with the gold.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
Piggy bank.
Exactly. This is your savings.
All
Your
right,
college
Jesus,
fund.
you need to go to the bank, put this in your savings account.
Yeah. Your college fund.
That's crazy.
That's funny. No, but wow. That is so cool.
Oh yeah.
That's neat.
Verse 15, and remained there until the death of Herod. This was so he had gone. They went to Egypt,
Yep.
right? They fled to Egypt because Herod was going to kill all the boys under 2. Remained until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophet. Out of Egypt I called my son. Hosea 11:1. So then they returned from Egypt, which is also symbolic of God's people being freed from slavery in Egypt
Yeah.
and going to the promised land,
Yep.
right? There was fulfilled what was spoken by the prophet Jeremiah. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping and loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be comforted because they are no more. That was Jeremiah 31:15, if somebody wants to reference that. Egypt back to Israel, for what it's worth, 300 miles, 3 to 4 week trip. So
Wow.
it wasn't like driving in your car and getting home
Yeah.
from a 10-hour trip.
Yeah.
And maybe, so the return to Nazareth. When Herod died, an angel told Joseph that, all right, it's safe to go back. So Joseph took Jesus and Mary and they went back to Israel. When he heard that Archelaus was reigning over Judea in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there, and being warned in a dream, he withdrew to the district of Galilee, went and lived in a city called Nazareth, so that what was spoken by the prophets might be fulfilled, that he would be called a Nazarene. Okay, so there is, this is, when we talk about the Midrash, I think I may have told you this. The best way I've heard this explained is the difference in Eastern and Western culture is, in Western culture, if we want to teach somebody, we, think about learning a subject in school. We go through the book, we have examples. It's very methodical. This is how you do it. And then you check that against a test until you basically memorize it.
Right.
Okay. Eastern culture, they give you a little bit and they want you to dig it out.
Yep.
So the Midrash will, if you're standing at your house, the best way to describe Midrash is they would tell you how to get to the house next door by sending you around the block. Does that make sense? So they want you to search the answer and not just be given the answer.
Right.
So what's odd is he went and lived in a city called Nazarene so that what was spoken by the prophets might be fulfilled, that he would be called a Nazarene. If you look in the Old Testament, there is no prophecy saying that.
I did not know that.
So
there isn't, so that doesn't exist.
not that exact thing, but here's what's significant about the Midrash. So the Matthew is using, more than likely, Midrash, which combined text. It used wordplay. It draws thematic conclusions and applied scripture to what they were looking at. They look for patterns. They look for themes. When they're reading a text, excuse me, and something doesn't seem right, then that's something to dig into. Mm-hmm. They use a lot of, I'll say, numerology to the extent that they look for things being mentioned 3 times, and then this is being mentioned 7 times, and then it all points to something, okay? Mm-hmm. So what I found is that he was most likely combining Isaiah 11:1,
okay,
which says, "There shall come forth a shoot from the stump of Jesse, and a branch from his roots shall bear fruit." Branch, the word for branch was netzer. Netzer closely resembles Nazarene or Nazareth. Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus the netzer of Davidic branch. Okay?
okay,
Nazareth was small, insignificant village. Nazareth is not mentioned in the Old Testament at all. And it was viewed with suspicion, again from John 1:46, what good can come from Nazareth? Mm-hmm. Okay? Prophecies describe the Messiah as despised, rejected, no reputation.
Nazareth.
Isaiah 53:2-3, Psalm 22:6. So being called a Nazarene functioned as a term of contempt, fitting the prophetic portrait of the suffering, rejected Messiah. Wow. So Midrash on Psalm 22 combines Psalms, Isaiah, and Zechariah to describe a single righteous sufferer. So what was spoken through the prophets was combining all this into one thing. And the rabbinic texts often expect the Messiah to be poor, hidden, rejected at first. The Sanhedrin in 98a, I'm not a Sanhedrin expert. Again, I found this. The Messiah is called the leper scholar and sitting among the afflicted. Therefore, being called a Nazarene fits the expectation of humiliation before
Yeah.
exaltation.
Dude,
Wow.
the Bible is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
So it's like, again, that,
Too.
Full
and
circle.
I'm sure I'm only scratching the surface, right?
Yeah.
You guys gave me 24 hours to prepare.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
welcome. You didn't prepare enough.
I know I
obviously.
didn't.
Whatever.
But-
You're crazy, dude. This is crazy.
It's just wild how deep you could really go with that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's just the crazy story of the birth of Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no holes. There's no holes in
Yeah.
it.
No.
And that's what I think is the point of us doing this is, man, like, dude, you can surface level read the story of Jesus and kind of blow it off. But if you really get into it,
It is deep.
it's so crazy.
It can't do anything but make sense.
Yeah.
No.
And you got to realize that it didn't, dude, I'll use some modern day people like Elon Musk and some of the people that our culture sees as like really
Yeah.
high up there. They could not come up with this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm saying our smartest minds of today, you
There's no
could
way.
not make that up.
Which
Yeah.
is why it's so important to study the word.
Yes. Individually
And
and together.
yes, and people who say that the Bible contradicts itself, people who say that it doesn't make sense and therefore they write it off, have not spent the time to study
Yep.
and
we
really
also-
dig it out.
And we also have to think that we're picking apart context clues from 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Like
And translations.
that you can't fathom how much information we're missing.
Oh,
As far as like context
Yeah,
clues,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you know, pieces of the puzzle that would like that we're probably I'd like to think that we're gonna learn all this in eternity. Like we're gonna spend eternity learning this. I would like to think so.
and
Man,
as you said that, it made me think of something. So we were talking earlier about, you know, when it comes to when Christ was actually born, does that change anything?
right,
What the date was?
right.
And it doesn't.
It does not.
Does all of this information
Oh no,
change anything?
right.
But what it does is it grows our relationship because we have a better
It paints a
understanding.
clearer picture.
We're learning
who
more
God
about
is.
God and
Yeah.
his
So
his
if
creation.
we're just trying to figure it all out because we want to be like God, that's a head issue.
Yep,
Yeah.
Like we were talking about earlier.
yep.
When we want to know our Lord and Savior on a deeper level, that's a hard issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to be all knowing because I want to be the wisest guy in the room. I want to grow my relationship with Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good.
God, that's so good.
I think like because we just said a lot. Just the basically what we were just saying. The biggest recap here is why we celebrate Christmas is for celebrating the birth of Jesus, who is our Savior, and our literal hope is that He came to earth, died, was resurrected, ascended to heaven, and He's coming back to get us.
Yep.
Yes.
That's our hope. That's our faith, right there.
And it's hard. I mean, I don't know how you deny it.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. When you get deeper like that, you're like, dude, it just what?
Yeah,
You can't make it. I mean, you can't make that up.
So it doesn't have to be a closing note, but I would wrap up with what I found with a statement that said, God revealed himself through the angels to the shepherds. God reveals himself to the world through shepherds like us.
Wow. Yeah.
So we talk about it all the time, but how important it is not just to go and be a consumer wherever we're being fed, whatever church you're going to, whatever the case may be. Don't just be a consumer, but you got to dig deeper and then take that and share that with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the beauty of this podcast, is that you are sharing knowledge, you are sharing your thoughts, and you are sharing opinions. And not that it's the be all end all, but hopefully it stimulates thought and a hunger and a desire to dig deeper.
Yeah. Exactly.
And in the same breath, like Christmas is not about, receiving gifts and receiving, all these things.
We've made it about that.
Exactly. And I think that, I think, the enemy, Satan, is, having a heyday with that, how it's become what it is. But
I guess to speak against what you just said, not that it's bad, at its purest level, it is about receiving gifts.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
The greatest gift we could ever be given.
but it's been perverted.
It
into
has.
what it is,
It has.
watered down. Yep.
And now we stress out about money. We stress out about
Yep.
Yeah. I was going to,
all the stuff.
yeah. I mean, as a parent who, and you don't have to be a parent necessarily, but as a parent who, when my children were younger, it was, my friends got this, my cousins got this, my whatever, they got this. As a parent who was living in a trailer with holes in the floor, and I'm over there like barely, buying Play-Doh.
Yeah.
It's like that makes that season not fun.
Yeah.
No, we make it worse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kids, I mean, my granddaughter, it doesn't, she has no perception of value.
Yep.
And the things she wants, we're like, is that it?
Yeah.
That's your list?
Yeah.
We got to get something bigger than that. We got to do something more than that. We pervert it.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And, and not to get way off, but I didn't grow up with my dad. And looking back, I can't tell you all the stuff he ever bought me.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can tell you are the times that he took me fishing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think we lose sight of what is truly valuable.
Yeah.
And the whole Christmas story is just that. It's a story of coming from nothing. It's humility. It's really viewing the value of what we see.
Yeah.
And the gift that he's offered us.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a good closing part, is somebody that's listening is the best gift. And it's going to sound so cliche, but the best gift you can give somebody for Christmas is tell them about Jesus.
Tell them about Jesus.
Whether or not you see fruit instantly doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's not
your
for
job,
you.
yeah.
You're not, that's not what you need.
Yep.
Tell them about Jesus. The next best thing to that is show them Jesus by
Yeah. Love them.
by the way you act.
Yes.
Love. To explain to them about gifts. And I could get into Santa Claus, and I know there's a lot of people, whatever, do you. When I became a Christian, we got rid of that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm saying
Yeah.
the most important thing is your is a relationship with Jesus Christ, telling people about it, your kids, whoever. And the next thing to that is loving your family, your people around you.
Yep.
And how do you do that? You just get them together and maybe eat a meal, whatever. It ain't got to be all the gifts. If you got some funds to do some gifts and play some games, do that. But if you ain't got it, don't worry about it. Don't stress about it.
No.
Yep.
No, at the end of the day, we were separated from God because of sin. And what's going to reconcile us to God is born. And that's that's going to set that whole thing into motion.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
This was nice.
Yeah, it was good.
Good.
Now we got to
nuggets.
dive deeper in the to
know.
the stuff.
I know.
That's awesome. Yeah, I encourage y'all to do that too. Man, like I said, depending on where you're at, just dive in.
Yeah.
A little bit. Learn this. Hopefully you got nuggets. I mean, I know I did out of this.
Oh yeah, me too.
So learning that, and man, like Chad said earlier, dive in. to Scripture and to your relationship individually.
Yep.
Don't rely on us.
Thank you all for having me. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
I'm
Chad.
grateful, truly.
Thank you,
Thank
Chad.
you.
Merry Christmas, you guys.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Santa! All right, well, we appreciate y'all joining this. We know it's Christmas season. We hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. You have time with your family and friends, loved ones. Show kindness to somebody during the season. Reach out to somebody that maybe you haven't talked to in a while. Just wish them a Merry Christmas and show them some love. We appreciate y'all.
Love y'all.
Love you. Thank you.